What's going on, everybody? It's EricRayweather back here, and in today's video I'm going to be showing you what I believe is one of the best new run plays in Madden 19. Not that it's a new play, but just right now what I think is one of the best run plays in the game. Now, I've been making a lot of videos on run plays lately because, just truthfully be told, a lot of run plays are better, like I said, since they updated it back in October. Now, this isn't the best type of run play. I don't want you to get that confused. This is what we're going to look at today is out of the single back wing pair. It's the halfback dive. This particular halfback dive is very good. I still think the overall best run plays in the game are typically like stretches and stuff like that. Halfback dives are good as well, but this particular halfback dive, because of the formation, is actually really tough to stop. Now, something to note before we get into this, you have one wide receiver on the outside left. You want a guy here that has decent run block, like in the 50s somewhere, but also a guy that's at least a decent route runner, someone that's, you know, in the 80s of route run. You don't want a bum out here that can just block, but you don't want like a stud route runner who can't block at all. You just need like someone that's decently balanced. He doesn't have to be he doesn't have to be the best run blocker, and he doesn't have to be, you know, Antonio Brown at running routes. Just somebody decent. We have Taylor Gabriel here, for example, you know, just a very average to, you know, slightly above average wide receiver. He'll get the job done. On the outside, on the right, we have three tight ends. All of those guys will be good run blockers. Now, at running back, it's always good to have, you know, a guy that can spin, because we're going to cut this to the left outside most of the times, and you're going to have a lot of one-on-one opportunities to spin. Obviously, speed and agility, the more of that you have, the better this is. What you're going to want to do here most of the time is you're going to want to get the dive, kind of take a step forward, and then cut it all the way to the left. The reason is, if you notice the defense, they're lined up heavy to the right because this formation is heavy to the right because we have those three tight ends there. So most times the defense is going to favor the right side, and it's going to give you the entire left side. So all we got to really hope for is that our wide receiver out here just gets a decent block on the cornerback, and most of the time he will do that. Now, also, we're going to mix in some play action with this just to keep our opponents on their toes, but we'll get to that later in the video. So basically, it's going to look like this. You want to just cut it straight to the outside like that. There, we couldn't really spin because we had two defenders on us. We didn't really have no, you know, lane to spin into, but you can see, again, cut it to the outside. We got our wide receiver out there blocking. Here we go. We make him miss. That's why you want a good spinner, because a lot of times you're going to have that opportunity. You're taking a halfback dive to the house if you can make that safety miss. But, you know, you're not going to always have that opportunity, but it's going to be there often enough. Again, cutting it to the outside. Okay, now that time our wide receiver didn't do a great job. We got about 6-7 yards, which is fine. If we could have anticipated that block shed, we could have faked him out a little better. That was just a bad block by our wide receiver. Now here, the middle's so wide open here, I'm going to look to take this up the middle. If they're giving you that, you know, if the middle's that wide open and they're giving it to you, you just take it up the middle. You don't always have to cut this to the outside. But typically that's what you're going to do. That's what you're going to have the most success doing. And then we weren't able to spin there. He kind of had the good angle on us there, but again, huge gain. Again, taking it back outside. And I want to show you what else happens here, because especially when you're playing people online, one of two things happens. Especially right now, a lot of people are scared to click on and tackle, because if you click on and I spin you, you're pretty much done. Like, you have to click on, you have to strafe, be in perfect position, and even then you can still get spun. So a lot of people are scared to click on. So if someone clicks on, they're typically easier to spin, because if they click on too late, it's easy to spin. But if you let the computer do the work, this happens a lot this year. Kind of watch what happens to LaMarcus Joyner here. You see how he kind of like, he's like pursuing us, and then he kind of like, he kind of slows down right here and kind of stands still for that split second. That allows us to get more yards by just kind of going outside. So if he would just keep running down at us right here, keep running down, we can't really spin him here because they have these two defenders right here. We would spin into them, right? But you see, instead of him just continuing to attack and hitting us about right here, he kind of slows down a little bit just for that split second, and that allows us to get an extra 3 to 4 yards. So that's something else to keep in mind. The pursuit angles aren't very good by the computer defenders. Again, here, cutting it to the outside. See, like, Marcus Peters just did the same thing there. The block was bad, but Marcus Peters kind of went into quicksand for a quick second, and, you know, it was just easy for us to break it outside. Here, okay, 5 yards. Like, you can see, we haven't really gotten less than 5 yards yet, and I'm not saying that there won't be times where maybe you only get 1 or 2 yards. That's the nature of running the ball. You're not going to break everything, but you can see just how successful this run is. Look, not the greatest block there. I mean, that was an okay block for the situation, because he hit him just enough for us to get around him, but if he would have held him off, we could have got upfield, spun the safety, and, you know, been in good business here. Again, if the middle's open, if they're giving you like a huge lane like that, you just take it. It's not, you know, it's not rocket science there. If they give you the hole, you take the hole. Okay, hit him with a juke there, boom. Like that's it. You have these opportunities. I'm not saying you're gonna take this halfback dive 50 yards to the house every time you run it, but when you get to the outside like that, one thing's gonna happen. Either the block is going to hold up the entire time and then you just have to fake out the safety, or a lot of times what just happened right here will happen. We get the initial block, he kind of sheds it, but then he goes and gets the safety at the next level, and then it just leaves us. Right here, it made more sense to juke because of the position we're in. Boom, we fake him out, he gets the block on the safety, and if you got a fast guy, you're not going to be caught at that point. So, again, I mean, all the way to the outside. You see how again, like Marcus Peters there. I'm going to go to replay because there's a couple things I want to show you here. Number one, this happens a lot right here. See this guy? This guy's actually got outside. He could have containment here, but you see how he kind of like shuffles to the inside? This furthermost outside guy right here. Instead of containing, he shuffles inside. And that is what allows us to break outside. Now he's too late. Now he can't possibly catch us here. And then watch Marcus Peters. You see, right when the block lets go, you see how he kind of stands still for a second? He's not really like pursuing. He's kind of just shuffling. And then that, I mean, it's just that little hesitation that I shouldn't have spun there. If I go outside with that, I'm going to get an extra 2 or 3 yards because of that. So just something to take note of there. Okay, there we got 4 yards. Not mad at that. 4 yards of run is still good. That's the worst run we've had yet. Like, it's here. I mean, look. Okay, that you're not gonna expect Tariq Cole in a truck, but that was about 4 or 5 yards before contact, and that's just because simply we had a bad block by a wide receiver there. He is a wide receiver, so sometimes that's gonna happen. Now here we had to kind of take it in the middle because the safety came down to the outside. We didn't want to risk going to the outside. Here's a goal line. If we get the block, I mean, again, break it to the outside, spin. Try to get downfield for a touchdown. Almost got it. We get inside the 5. So you can see how good this is. Now, when you cut this to the outside a lot, what's going to start happening, see again how that guy shuffled inside? That's going to happen every time, pretty much. He's never going to contain that edge. That's why this run play is so good, because the defense favors the right, but even when you have a guy on the outside that could contain, he just shuffles to the inside. And when you have speed like this, once he shuffles inside, I mean, he's just too far out of position. I don't care who you have there. You're still going to get at least 4 or 5 yards, if not more. Now, something else that's going to start happening if you run this, the user might start favoring the outside. So, if this user's right here and he immediately shoots to the outside to try to stop you, so I'm gonna actually go ahead and like just put this guy in like a hard flat. I want to just kind of like simulate him shooting outside. So let's say he starts here, but at the hike he shoots outside like that. Well, then that's leaving the box more open for you. So that's something you have to get good at reading as well, because a good player is going to try to shoot out there and stop you when he sees his formation once you break it to the outside a lot. But if as soon as you get the ball, he has to favor the outside, because you're still taking a step forward before you actually go outside. So it looks the same every single time. He has to assume you're going to cut it back if he wants to stop it. But if he shoots to the outside because he's expecting to cut back, he's leaving the middle more vulnerable. So if you see him do that, then you just take it up the middle. And that's kind of where the mind game comes in. Now, last but not least, I want to just focus on this little quick play action play. It'll be in the audibles. It's the PA tight end seam. Pretty much all I do here is I just drag the A tight end. And there's 3 things to look for. You have A on the drag. He's crossing over underneath the comeback route to the X receiver. One of those guys is typically always going to be open. The X will beat... He'll beat man. He'll beat any kind of deep zone like a cover 3 or cover 4. The drag underneath will beat a cover 2. He'll beat, sometimes if you got a fast guy there, he can beat man. And then you also have the RB guy in the seam. Sometimes that seam's going to be open because people might start selling out to stop the run. So you see here, and I mean, we just got hit with a, I don't know, they must have sent a heavy blitz there. That's just on us. We didn't get the ball off in time. Sometimes a play action, that just happens. You can block the outside guy, you know, if need be. They're just sending like heavy heat right now. So maybe if you do this, it's probably best to like just go ahead and block the B guy just to be safe, just to, you know, get yourself some time. But you can see here, you see like how this comeback route just cooks any type of deep zone. It's gonna cook it every single time. So this is not something, you know, I'm going to a lot, but it's just something, hey, you have to respect the play action too. Watch the comeback route. Comeback route, easy money. Easy money. And if that's not there, I'm just gonna like go to a cover 2, just kind of give you like a look like a different look just to show you that, hey, you know, you can still hit like the drag route too. But if the drag route's not there, the comeback's there. That's the beauty of it. The few plays we just ran, you know, the comeback was there, not the drag. But you can still hit the drag. You know, okay, we got 5 to 7 yards on a drag. You can mix this in, just to be honest. And again, you have like the seam route. If they start cheating up, like, you know, if they're in a zone defense or whatever, and they're, you know, they're trying to line things up, trying to stop you, and they cheat up to stop the run. Like, let's say, you know, this guy jumps down to stop the run, right? So we're gonna kind of hold him down here just to like give, you know, just kind of try to give a look that you might see, right? If they cheat down to stop the run, you know, you can hit the seam. Like, it's all about processing information quick. More times than not, you're just going to hit the dive outside for huge yards. But if you can see what they're doing with their user and you mix the play action in, or, you know, you watch where their user's going, maybe you decide to run up the middle. It's all about, you have to process what's going on. But otherwise, the run play is so deadly that they're going to have to overcommit to stop it. Now, this isn't something I run a whole offense around, but I do use this because it's in the Patriots playbook. I do use this a lot. It should be in some other playbooks as well, but as you guys know, the Patriots are the best playbook. I mix this run in a lot when I need to like kill clock kind of late in games, or sometimes short yardage situations. I'll pull this out when they're not expecting it, because you have to run this a few times before they realize, like, wow, the cutback lane is really there every time, and then they start over pursuing it. But the first few times you run it, they're not going to expect the cutback lane to be that consistent as it is. So this is something I kind of mix in when I really need to go to the ground and pound. I don't just run a whole offense around this because this formation's a little limited on pass plays, but just something that you can, like I said, go to kill the clock. Definitely something that people have trouble stopping. Works really good in solo battles as well. My voice is kind of like going out right now. Works really good in solo battles against a computer as well if you're trying to get solo battle points. So something else to look into. But that's going to be all for today. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and found it helpful. If you did, as always, just drop a like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you guys next time.